Before the iPhone existed, before modern cameras filled our phones, before anyone could capture a moment with a single click, there was a man who lived more than 1,000 years ago who entered a dark room, performed a simple experiment, and discovered a secret that would change the history of humanity. He had no electricity, no computers, no modern technology, but he had one powerful question. How do we see the world? The answer he discovered became one of the foundations behind the camera technology we use today. His name was Ibn al-Haytham, a Muslim scientist who transformed our understanding of light, vision, and images. But why do so many people today not know his name? And how did an idea from over 1,000 years ago become the camera in your pocket? This is the story of the man who saw the future before the world was ready for it. If you love forgotten history and stories about the people who changed the world, subscribe to this channel for more incredible stories from the past. Around the year 965, in the city of Basra, Iraq, a boy was born who would later become one of history's greatest scientists. His name was Abu Ali Alhazen ibn al-Haytham. He lived during the golden age of Islamic civilization, a time when cities like Baghdad, Basra, and Cairo became centers of knowledge, science, and discovery. During this period, scholars studied mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy. But Ibn al-Haytham was different. He was not someone who simply accepted what others said. Whenever he heard an idea, he asked, "How do we know this is true? Can we test it? What evidence supports it?" This way of thinking made him one of the greatest scientific minds of his era. Before Ibn al-Haytham, many people believed that the human eye worked by sending out rays of light to objects. They thought our eyes produced something that allowed us to see. But Ibn al-Haytham questioned this idea. He believed that vision happened because light traveled from objects into our eyes. To prove this, he conducted experiments and carefully studied how light behaved. He discovered that the eye does not send light outward. Instead, it receives light. This discovery completely changed the understanding of vision and became a major foundation of the science of optics. One of Ibn al-Haytham's most famous experiments involved a dark room. He entered a room where almost no light could enter. Then, he created a tiny opening in the wall. When sunlight passed through that small opening, something incredible happened. The image of the outside world appeared on the opposite wall. Trees, people, and objects outside were projected inside the room. But the image appeared upside down. Ibn al-Haytham realized something extraordinary. Light could carry an image. This experiment became known as Camera Obscura. Although it was not a modern camera that could store photographs, it revealed the most important principle behind every camera. Light creates images. Ibn al-Haytham did not keep his discoveries to himself. He wrote a famous book called Kitab al-Manazir, the Book of Optics. In this work, he explained how light travels, how mirrors work, how the human eye sees, how images are formed, how experiments should be used to discover truth. His greatest contribution was not only his discoveries, but also his method. He believed that knowledge should not be based only on opinions. It should be based on observation, testing, and evidence. This approach later became one of the foundations of modern scientific methods. After Ibn al-Haytham, the idea of camera obscura continued to develop. Over the centuries, scientists improved the design. They created better lenses. They discovered ways to capture and preserve images. In the 19th century, the first practical cameras were created. Later, cameras became smaller. They entered homes. They became part of phones. Today, billions of people carry powerful cameras in their pockets. But the journey began with a simple experiment by a Muslim scientist more than 1,000 years ago. Even though Ibn al-Haytham's work influenced the development of science, many people today do not know his name. History often remembers the people who complete inventions, but it sometimes forgets those who built the foundation. Ibn al-Haytham did not create the smartphone camera we use today, but he discovered the most important idea behind it: the relationship between light and images. Without understanding that principle, modern cameras would not exist. Every time you take a photo, every time you record a video, remember that behind that simple click is a story that began more than 1,000 years ago. A story about a man who dared to question what others believed. Ibn al-Haytham taught the world an important lesson. A single question can change history. A small experiment can create a revolution. A person looking into a dark room can discover a brighter future for everyone. The man who entered that room did not just discover how images work. He helped humanity see the world in a completely new way. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and share it with others so more people can discover the forgotten stories of history. Until the next story, we will continue exploring the people, mysteries, and discoveries that changed the world.